Hello everyone. Today we shall discuss about concept of risk in pharmacoepidemiology. Risk. What is risk? So by the term risk we means that it's basically a probability to experience some harm. Harm in the sense harm to our health, okay, or to lose our good health, okay. So when we can do harm to our health or when we can lose our good health. Basically when we talk about this entire pharmacoepidemiology, so whenever a new molecule is discovered, okay, so from discovery to development through the preclinical trial and through the clinical trial, every sponsor or every pharma company ensures that whatever drug after the clinical trial is to be launched into the market, it should have maximum of benefit and less of risk. Risk will be always there with every drug. What risk? Risk of causing adverse drug reaction. That adverse drug reaction can have a minimal health effect on a person, or it can have a maximum health effect on the person, and it can be even life-threatening. Okay, so every drug which is launched to a market after vigorous years of preclinical trial and clinical trial has to have less amount of risk and more amount of benefit. In other words, benefit should always outweigh the risk for a drug to be used into humans. No drug is without any risk. Risk will be always there. There will be minor side effect, but we need to prevent the side effect to become some adverse drug reaction. Okay, so that's what is the meaning of risk here in pharmacoepidemiology. So basically, it's a likelihood or the probability of experiencing some type of harm or losing something that one values. Okay, so what we value? We value our good health. So if we lose our good health because of some adverse drug reaction, that is risk to our health. Okay, so that's what. So this risk always has got a negative outcome in us. Okay, so when a drug is exposed to a population in treatment of a disease, so drug can have two outcomes. It can have a positive outcome, it can have a negative outcome. Positive outcome means it will treat the patient from the disease what they are suffering from. And negative outcome means the drug will have adverse drug reaction which will cause some minimum health concern to the patient or can have some maximum health concern which can be even life-threatening, as I have told you. So risk factors. So before we have any disease or a problem, risk is always before that. Means risk comes before any disorder or problem. For example, if we are staying in an environment which has got lot of, or we can say it has got a poor air quality index, there is lot of air pollution. So all those air pollutants, or if we are surrounded by people who are smokers, so we are living in a scenario when we are surrounded by the smokers. So what will happen? As you know, smoking or bad air quality can lead to lung cancer. So this smoking or excessive smoking or exposure to this bad air quality can cause lung cancer. Okay, so all these bad air quality or smoking are the risk factors for causing lung cancer. Okay, so risk will always be before any problem or any disorder. Second thing is, risk is time limited. So the more we are exposed to any risk factor, the more chances are there that we will be get diseased. Same example, the more we stay in environment which has got a poor air quality index, the more chances we have to get lung cancer. Or the more we smoke, or the more we stay with smokers, the more chances we have to get lung cancer. Okay, so it is always time limited. Third is it can derive from the individual, the family, the community, institution, or the general environment. Means this risk factor can be biological. Means we can take it from our family members. It can be genetics, okay, or it can be environmental, from the air, from the water, okay, or from being surrounded by the smokers, or it can be psychosocial, like the stress condition of working. So all these factors or the risk factors can lead to some problem, can lead to some disorder. And as I told, this risk always plays a causal role, or it's a marker for a problem. Okay, so the risk will be always be a cause. Like cause for lung cancer is heavy smoking. Cause for lung cancer is being or staying in a environment which has got a poor air quality index. So risk is always a cause. It's a marker of a problem. Now, risk has got two types of main characteristics. What are those? First is risk is not certain, which means that it's not certain that everybody who is staying in an environment having a poor air quality or who is staying along with the smokers will develop lung cancer. It can happen with chance. So there is always a probability, but it's not a certain factor. Okay, so risk is based on probability. Therefore, not everyone who is exposed to a risk condition or factor will have an adverse outcome. Risk factors are linked to and associated with negative outcomes. As I told, risk is always having a negative outcome. Second characteristics, risk is a relative concept, which means that the more time we are exposed to an environment which is having a harmful effect on our health, the more chance we have to get diseased or to get some health problem. Okay, so the longer the exposure to a risk factors, the greater the likelihood the health problem will occur. Okay, second thing, so this risk factors, okay, can cause a minimum harm or can cause a maximum harm. Okay, so risk factors range from those that are only markers to minimally harmful situations to those that are markers to life-threatening situations. Okay, so the risk can cause a health which can have minimum effect on a person, but at the same time it can also cause an effect which can be life-threatening. Risk in pharmacoepidemiology. So whatever I have told you, it's like it is the probability of developing an outcome when exposed to a drug. Okay, so as I told, when we expose to a drug, it can have two outcomes, a positive outcome or a negative outcome. Negative outcome means getting some adverse drug reactions. A drug is approved for humans only after measuring the risk and benefits associated with it. As I told you, once a drug comes into a market, we have to be doubly sure before we give to the patient that the drug, the medicine should have maximum of benefits and less risk. Pharmacists should know the magnitude and frequency of the risk involved in the drug use. It is a probability and it depends on a variety of factors like age, sex, physical conditions, food habits, other disease, other medicines and kinetics of drug. Okay, so this entire risk factors, okay, to develop a negative outcome, it depends upon person's age, person's sex, physical conditions, their food habits, what drugs they are taking, so is there any drug-drug interaction or drug-free interaction or any drug-disease interaction or some other medicines, or even regarding it the pharmacokinetics of the drugs. Okay. Now this risk, what we are talking about, the risk of an ADR is expressed in many ways, like number 1, attributable risk, number 2, relative risk, number 3, odds ratio, number 4, time risk relationship. Okay, so we can say there are 4 types of risk by which means we can find out the risk of an ADR. Okay, like all these 4 things. Today we will discuss about attributable risk. Attributable risk. It is the risk difference or excess risk between the risk in the exposed group and the baseline risk in the unexposed population. Which means that suppose we have got 2 group of population. Okay, one group is of people who are smokers, means they are active smokers, and one group is non-smokers, means they are passive smokers. Okay, so a group or population of a smoker, a population of a non-smoker. Okay, now as we know, smoking leads to lung cancer. Smoking causes lung cancer. Okay, so the people who are smoking, so they have got high risk of getting lung cancer. Okay, suppose we have in both the groups we have 10 people. So in group 1 which are having smoker, so all those 10 smokers, they have got high risk of getting lung cancer. Okay, same way other group who are non-smoker but they are passive smoker, they are staying with the, suppose those smokers only, they are not smoking, but they also have a chance of getting lung cancer, but in them the risk is less. Okay, as I told, risk is not certain. Okay, so it's not certain that all the smokers will get lung cancer. Some will get, some will not get. Same in the non-smoker group, some will get lung cancer, some will not get lung cancer, but the number of people getting lung cancer, okay, our chances are more in the exposed group, means who are the smoker, and compared to the people who are in the unexposed group, means the non-smoker group. Okay, so the difference of risk between the smoker group and the non-smoker group is called as the attributable risk. The difference of risk or the excess of risk which is there in the exposed group compared to the non-exposed group is called as the attributable risk, which means that the excess risk what is there in the exposed group can be attributed to the condition to which they are exposed to. Like in this situation, they are exposed to smoking. Okay, so the excess risk which is there in the exposed group can be attributed because they are heavy smokers. Clear? So it assumes that if the risk of a disease in the exposed group is higher than the risk in the unexposed group, the difference can be attributed to the exposure, and this is called as attributable risk. Here in this slide there is a image, means where we can see that a graph is there having 2 bar. One bar says about exposed group, other bar says about non-exposed group. So we can say that the bar of exposed group is bigger in size, which means that the level of risk in the exposed group is more as compared to the level of risk in the non-exposed group. Okay, so the level of risk in the non-exposed group, we take it as a baseline. We take it as a baseline. Okay, so that baseline in the non-exposed group, we match it with the exposed group, and then what we get this extra part, the excess part, which is the difference of risk. And that difference of risk or that excess of risk is due to the incidence due to exposure, or it can be attributed to the exposure, and this risk difference or excess risk is called as the attributable risk. So one is considered exposed and other unexposed, as I told. So AR stands for attributable risk. Okay, so AR is equal to rate of exposed minus rate of non-exposed, where R is what? R is the rate of the outcome of the interest or the incidence. So we can say that AR, that is attributable risk, is equal to incidence in exposed minus incidence in unexposed. The difference of those two incidents in the exposed group and in the non-exposed group will give us the attributable risk. And then we can find out the attributable proportion or the percentage. Like formula is R exposed minus R non-exposed whole divided by R exposed multiplied with 100, and this will give us attributable rate percentage, or also called as attributable proportion. Now here is one example. A study of smoking and lung cancer. The lung cancer mortality rate among non-smokers was 0.07 per 1,000 persons per year. The lung cancer mortality rate among who smoked 1 to 14 cigarettes per day was 0.57 lung cancer deaths per 1,000 persons per year. Now we need to find out the attributable proportion. So it's given here that we have got a group of two. One group is non-smoker, other group is a smoker, and those smokers are daily consuming 1 to 14 cigarettes. Okay. Now second thing is, in the non-smoker we have found that there is 0.07 mortality per 1,000 persons, whereas in the smokers who are smoking 1 to 14 cigarettes, in them mortality is 0.57. Now we need to find out the attributable proportion. Okay, so what was the formula? Formula was R exposed minus R non-exposed. Okay, divided by R exposed multiplied with 100. So what is our R exposed? R exposed here is 0.57 and R non-exposed is 0.07. So attributable proportion is, now we can see here 0.57 minus 0.07 divided by 0.57 multiplied with 100 gives us 87.787% approximately, which is called as, you can say it is as 88%. Okay, now what does this mean? This means that about 88% of the lung cancer among smokers of 1 to 14 cigarettes per day might be attributed to their smoking. Okay, so why there was more mortality in the smokers? Because they were smoking. That smoking led to the destruction of the lungs, and because of that there was lung cancer. That's why in a two group of non-smokers and smokers, there are more chances of lung cancer to be there in the population which is smoking as compared to who are not smoking. That's what it says here. 88% of the lung cancer among smokers of 1 to 14 cigarettes per day might be attributed to their smoking. and this attributed factor to a condition is called as attributable risk. So with this I end today's session. In the next class I will discuss about relative risk. Thank you.